Well, Husker Nation, let's do a little post-game analysis. Let's talk about uh, the tough, heartbreaking, but very familiar overtime loss that Nebraska had to Illinois to start conference play 0-1 for the 2024 season. Okay, so let me set the stage for you guys. 400th consecutive sellout. Friday night under the lights, Memorial Stadium get the home game, fourth home game in a row to start this year, and a battle of two top 25 teams. The stage is set to just show everybody on national television that we're back, right? Beat Illinois, show the world that the transformation that Matt Rule's doing there in year two is taken off. And in a stage that's set and primed for us to do that, we do the exact opposite and we lose in the same familiar fashion we've done for the last several years. It could have been Scott Frost over there on the sidelines coaching this game, and that's just what it looked like. That's what this looked like at the end of the day. We lost in the same fashion we lost, much the same way we did all through Scott Frost's tenure. Um, so, lots to talk about, lots to work on. Smash the subscribe button, and you'll get this content in the future. All right, let's move on. Look, it, we're going to talk about a couple things. We'll talk offense, defense, special teams. Look, I just got to come out and say the college football world does this thing every couple of years where it starts in the preseason. They did it with Frost. They did it, I think, a little bit with Mike Riley, and now they're doing it with Rule. They start to hype up the team. They talk about playoff hopes or natty hopes, bowl games, 7-0. This is the team, the dark horse, the team to watch. And then we win a game or two, and then they preemptively, prematurely put us in the AP top 25. This happens every couple of years, and it happened again this year. There was zero reason for anybody talking about us going 7-0, for the record. There was zero reason for us to be in the AP top 25 because we haven't beat anybody yet. Okay? Boy, they did it. And time again, Nebraska shows that it's not ready to be there. It's not ready to be in that conversation. Some of y'all don't want to hear that. Some of y'all aren't ready to hear that. We're not ready to be in that conversation. I'm not faulting Matt Rule. I'm not counting him out at all. I believe in what he's doing. I believe in the direction the program's going. But I think we had unrealistic expectations for what year two under him could be. He doesn't even have all his full recruiting cycles and classes and kids he's bringing in playing for him. That won't happen until year three or four. So the unrealistic expectations are there. And what's surprising, though, I'll say, is last year was the offense that held this team back. Special teams, same as this year, but offense. We had too many injuries. They did what they could to throw something together, and they made it work. But the defense was what kept us in games, and the defense was the reason we had an opportunity to go bowling. And we should have gone bowling last year. I'm not gonna go. We're not gonna break back into that, but there's no reason why we shouldn't have won 6 games last year. But anyway, this year, it's just like it flipped. We have an offense right now that's churning. And Marcus Satterfield today called about as good of a game on offense as I've seen in a long time. But now the defense has all these question marks on it. The defense isn't holding up their end of the bargain. And the cracks were there last week. The cracks were there last week for anybody who actually watched and paid attention to that game. But a lot of people wanted to look the other way and ignore them because we held an FCS team to 3 points. Big deal. It's an FCS team, guys. The final score, as I said last week, did not tell the whole story. The cracks were there. They're evident. And I was a little concerned by last week when Matt Rule didn't seem at all concerned about the cracks that I thought I could see there. Um, I'm not sure that he didn't discuss things behind closed doors and address it with the team, but from what I saw in the press conferences, what I saw in Chasing Three, it was more like, "Hey, you guys are playing great football. It's just not quite championship football, but it's great." Oh, I don't think it was great last week, and so there may be a little bit of ownership there for Matt Rule too to say, "Hey, look, am am I giving these guys too much false confidence and saying you don't need to worry about all those missed tackles and stuff? You just tighten it up a little bit, but you're doing just fine. No, you got to hold the feet to the fire and set a standard. Whatever they changed on defense, whatever they're doing, it's not working. Now, they started Tommy Hill, corner, obviously, future NFL guy. Opposite Tommy Hill on that defense, they started Marcus Buford Jr. He got cooked on a key third down early that should have took Illinois off the field, and he got beat, and they converted it. And he got cooked again for Illinois' first touchdown. After that, I think it was Tommy Hill and Sia Wright playing defense for the most part. And unfortunately, later in the game, Tommy Hill goes out. Matt Rule says it's plantar fasciitis inflammation, so I don't know how long that sidelines him. But that's a huge loss because we don't have the experience or depth back there in the cornerback position. And let's be clear, the defense today was absolutely shredded by Luke Altmaier. Now, I'm not going to talk down on Luke Altmaier. I think he looked great out there, and the Illinois' offensive game plan looked good. They had us on their heels. But Luke Altmaier is not like a Heisman. Right now, at least, he's not in the Heisman Trophy conversation at all. He's not in any, as far as I'm aware, not in any NFL draft conversations at all. But he shredded us 21 of 27, 215 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Shredded us. If Tommy Hill's going to miss extended periods of time, who do we have out there? What can we do scheme-wise to fill that weakness that is our secondary? The defensive line, not getting to the quarterback. I mean, how many sacks do we have today? I don't know. We had the strip sack, and that was good. That was on a corner blitz. Sia Wright came around corner blitz, strip sack. But other than that, how many sacks do we have? Did we get any sacks today? I don't know. That's not good, guys. The defense, for whatever they did, whatever they're changing or what's going on, it took a huge step back. So for all the praise Tony White got for his defense last year and in the season this year and on the offseason, it needs to figure out now how to get back to what he was doing. Something changed. I don't know what it was, but we are not looking good on the defense side of the ball. We lost this game because we gave up 31 points. And let me be clear to you about something. How many games do you expect to win if you give up 31 points? In defense, Illinois scored in overtime. Illinois scored in 2 plays. That's it. That's atrocious. Do we not practice these scenarios? What are we doing? A lot of the time on defense, you saw the corners and stuff getting cooked on the outside routes, receivers catching them wide open in the middle. What do you see the corners? The defense walking around, palms up, looking around at each other. No one seems to know what's going on. That's concerning. All right, here's a positive, though. I thought, besides the overtime, we'll get to that, I thought the offense did great today. Okay, Raiola's out there. He looks like the best quarterback we've had here maybe at Nebraska ever, right? There's guys that are older than me that might argue with that, but certainly the best quarterback I've watched play here, and he's only a freshman. His lone interception came out of a ball that was ripped out of Nayor's hand, same way it happened last week with Jalen Lloyd. I mean, he's dropping dimes, and his receivers got to hold their end of the bargain. Now, Nayor had 2 touchdown passes. Nayor was dynamic today, so I don't want to linger on that. Overall, I thought the offense looked great. Now, we only had 77 yards on the ground. We had probably true yards over 100, but it was those sacks, especially in overtime, that took away a lot of the rushing yards. Now, Dowdell's clearly the running back in the backfield now. It's good. I'm glad we cleared up that committee. But his 20 carries only amounted to 72 yards. He had a few that he broke free from, but we were not able to really get anything going on the run game, which I thought was a little curious considering Kansas ran for over 150 yards against them. But we more than made up for it in the passing game. And Raiola was cooking back there. And the lone criticism I can give Raiola from today is that late go-ahead touchdown we had. He had Borkacher wide open in the end zone. He overthrew him. Just overthrew him. And we would have probably won the game if he hit that. Then we settled, tried to make the field goal, and you saw what happened with that. Of course, we missed it because we missed probably 70% of field goals I feel like we try. If it's not 70%, it's close. It's more than 50. It's got to be. It's ridiculous. But it was great. Through 4 quarters, I thought Marcus Satterfield called a good game on offense. I thought we executed pretty well. Ja'Cory Barney Jr. getting in there. He took that catch over the middle and got walloped and popped back up. And he's all 160 pounds, guys. That's impressive. Thomas Fedoni getting in there for 42 yards today on the ground. Um, they got Heiner Carberg in there for that trick play. I thought that was a beautifully executed play. So great. Through 4 quarters, offense was great. And then came overtime, and I don't. Again, I don't know. Do we not practice these scenarios? Do we not prepare for this? Because defense looks like they didn't, and then offense comes in, and it's like fourth. Ended up being like what, fourth and like 42 or something crazy. I mean, it was embarrassing how bad the offense was in that moment. Um, so we haven't won an overtime game. I can't even remember the last time we won an overtime game. Why is it so difficult to practice these scenarios? I don't. I really don't understand. Special teams. Last thing we'll hit on, guys. I don't know. It's still early in the year, so we gotta give it time, right? But Ed Foley's got to be feeling pressure by now. Last year was the same, and week after week this year, the special teams is the topic that gets brought up. It's what's holding this team's back. Now, Tristan Alvano today was out. I'm not sure why. Rule didn't comment really to say what it was, injury or whatever, as far as I know. So John Holt filled in, made all his extra points, made like a 26-yarder. But when it came to take the lead late in the fourth quarter, with about 3 minutes left, he missed that field goal. I think it was about a 34 or 36-yard field goal. Missed it. Now, after the game, Rule blamed the place holder. He said the laces were in the wrong spot. That's probably true. I don't know that much about that kicking stuff. But at the end of the day, whether it's the actual kicker, the placeholder, the way the ball is held, whatever, that's Ed Foley. He's got to get this stuff coached. I mean, if it's as simple as not placing the laces the right direction, how is that not sorted out week 4? How? You tell me how that's not sorted out week 4. You know, if that's the key, like you have to hold the laces towards the kicker, let's say, or is it towards the field goal post? I don't know. He said laces were the wrong way, so you know the way the laces have to go. How do you not practice that and know? It should be second nature. The fact that that's been getting wrong, and that's what got talked about last week, and I think the week before, is it's kind of concerning and confusing to me how that's not fixed. You see the punt return yards they get, the kickoff return yards they get. The lanes are wide open. Bushini had to make the tackle on a punt to save a touchdown. Special teams will hold this team back, even if the defense fixes itself. I mean, we got a lot of season left, guys. I mean, so I'm not trying to be overcritical of Ed Foley, saying. But he's got to feel the pressure. He's got to get some stuff fixed. Because at some point, I mean, it's a tough balance in this conversation between saying it's year 2 under Matt Rule, and give him time, because that's true. We need to do that, right, for sure. And I believe in Matt Rule. There's also that fan part of me and you and all of us that just says, when is enough of this crap? When's enough of these one-score losses? When's enough of all these penalties? When's enough of the shooting of stars in the foot? Why can't we execute in overtime? Why can't we make field goals? Why can't we win a game like this? Why can't we beat a ranked team? I don't know. But 3-1. A lot of games left ahead of us. Got Purdue next week. That's first a road game, mind you. And we got Indiana coming up, who, if we can't figure out the secondary, is absolutely going to shred us. I mean, they are explosive offense. They will destroy us if we don't figure it out. Now, we could very well figure it out by then. I'm just saying, Giants' performance ain't going to cut it. It ain't going to cut it against Ohio State. They're not going to cut it against USC. I don't think it's going to cut it against Iowa. Iowa is, whether you guys want to admit it or not, has gotten better on offense this year. They're slow to start, but their offense comes together in second halves, and they put up points. What's the bare minimum this year that we need to win for us to feel good? Year 2. Year 2 under Rule, but since we fired Bo Pelini, since we've been a team that has been relevant to anybody. So Let's count that second year under Mike Riley. He started 7-0, and then the wheels just fell off that train. But what's okay? Is 6 wins okay? 7? I don't know if I can expect us to win more than 6 or 7, guys. It's hard. I was pressed in the off season to believe we could do it, and through 2 games, UTEP and Colorado, I was shocked and pleasantly happy with the direction of the team. Last week was good. It was a good win. Don't get me wrong on that, but the cracks were there. Now, that was fine because you can have a off game as long as you bounce back strong. But those cracks only got wider tonight on the defense. The questions are only bigger. So unless you get that fixed, how many games will we win in this year? I don't know. Is 6 going to be enough? Can we get to 6? Is 7 going to be enough? I don't know. But Matt Rule gets paid a lot of money to figure it out. So does Tony White. He's got a raise last year, by the way. And I definitely, I think if Tony White had the defense what he did last year and 2 games this year, there's zero reason why we can't get that back. They just got to figure out what's gone astray and fix it. It's that simple. I'd love to know your thoughts. Drop them in the comment section below. Again, smash that subscribe button. And, hey, we'll do this again next week. First time next week we play Purdue on the road, and it's not a night game. I think it's our first time we're not playing at night this year. It's like a 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. game. 11 a.m. kickoff. So, hey, we'll see how that goes. How can the team respond? We'll see. We'll see.